Welcome to Slam the Gavel, the show that tells it all regarding family court, criminal court, and other court issues, as well as CPS. I am your host, Maryann Petri. You can find me, my books, and blogs on dismantlingfamilycourtcorruption.com. And my books are also on audio. Also, if you have a tale to tell, you're welcome to contact me on dismantlingfamilycourtcorruption.com. I have a return guest. I'm happy to have Olga Wilson on. She's from Butte County, Chico, California. She was last on season 5, episode 274, and where she was talking about the transcript falsification and corruption in the California family courts. In our last conversation, Olga shared how records were altered to erase evidence and silence her. Since then, shocking new developments have emerged, including the questionable reassignment of a retired judge to her case, the denial of her objections, and evidence of systemic cover up at the highest levels of the California judiciary. And this isn't just Olga's story. This could be the taxpayer story. What's happening to Olga can happen to anyone, and that is the taxpayer. And this is a warning about how far the courts will go to protect themselves instead of families and their children. So I welcome you, Olga. Tell me more about this mystery of the retiring judge.
Good morning, Marianne, and good morning, everyone. And thank you so much for having me back. Just briefly going you already mentioned what we were last time here about. So basically, we were talking about transcripts falsification. I'm currently out of family court while my case is still not closed yet, but there are no pending matters. And I'm on 2 active appeals with the 3rd Appellate District Court, currently appealing 3 orders from that same judge. The last hearing was on April 15th, and that court order, of course, it was a hearing to set aside custody and vexatious litigant court orders. And it went automatically into my 2nd appeal, that ruling of the 15th of April. So basically, this judge retired on May 12th, and after my thorough research and requesting FOIA and making other requests, I got the confirmation from the Judicial Council of California that this judge is for sure retired on May 12th. And technically, the retirement basically would put him into a category of temporary or retired judges, right? That's what we call them. And per California Constitution, technically, there is no opportunity for them to be assigned back into the case or into any other case without the prior consent, written or oral, from both parties in a specific case. And also, in addition, they have to be assigned by the Judicial Council, it is my understanding, into the cases, and in some cases, in certain cases, to the certain cases. I'm sorry for
That's okay.
So that was what I knew from off the top of my head, and I was like, okay, so I got stuck with my appeals because I cannot establish still a record. It's been a nightmare of a few months going back and forth, trying to correct this transcripts, which has these omissions and alternations on its face, basically. I don't even have to have it recorded in any form because, I mean, one transcript, for example, has an incorrect date on its face. It states it's 2004, year of 2004. Things like that. And the other transcript is completely missing the whole paragraph, which is hiding the credentials, basically, and the affiliation of the court interpreter, which was present back then. That was April 9, 2024, absolutely outrageous hearing when, every single right of mine was violated, including the ADA accommodation request, and of course, the right to have an interpreter. Also, what I discovered in the process after that podcast we had, my native language the interpreter is supposed to be specifically certified court interpreter, unless I am waiving my right for a certified court interpreter. But I mean, to waive this right, I have to be notified
Mhm.
at least. So I was not. And I discovered that this judge, specifically Judge Michael Candela, I don't care anymore. I will name the characters here.
Well, his
Uh,
mother should be ashamed of him.
I I don't know what these people, how they feel, like how they live with them, how they sleep at night. Because this judge blatantly lied on a record back then in April of 2024 that it was a certified court interpreter while she was completely not qualified interpreter. She didn't know simple basic words such as, let's say, petitioner. She called him an applicant, or the mediator, calling this person a middleman, like,
Mhm.
this legal jargon, which everyone who goes through family court knows, even not language professional person.
Mhm.
So things like that, and or for example, change of legal citation, also on its face, because my attorney have never had an attorney back then. She never used that legal citation. They substituted it for something else, and they still deny after the fact that we brought that to their attention that this legal citation does not have nothing to deal with the subject of that hearing that we had that day. It's something to deal with child support, wherever they put the child support for the kids who are currently in a foster care or something like that, or in the process of establishing paternityship, which is not my case at all.
Mhm. Mhm.
So anyway, trying to establish record and appeal, I had to go to uh, basically to the appellate court asking for help, because I tried to resolve it informally with the court reporters. They, of course, there are two companies there, different companies. They deny everything. And one of the companies immediately hired an attorney and, in a hostile manner, immediately started threatening to my attorney in response with the defamation lawsuit. I mean, you guys have to know, right, what the defamation is.
Mhm.
No one published nothing by that time, nowhere, no names. So it's just all bluff. It's all
Right.
fiction, you know. And so they denied, both companies denied the corrections.
Huh.
And then we, with my attorney, on May 21st, filed a notice of corrected transcript within the Butte County, inviting them for informal corrections. They held this notice and proofs of services in their electronic system
Mhm.
for 9 days, and without judicial review, they simply rejected it, stating it's a court of appeals matter. Okay, so I did file motion on May 23rd with Court of Appeal, claiming that they rejected simply because they claim that they don't have any jurisdiction. So you are now in appellate court, go to appellate court, they will deal with this falsified transcripts. So I did. And on only July 25th, so basically 2 months it took appellate court to make this decision, they issued an order that they ordered the Butte County Superior Court resolve this matter within the 30 days from the Court of Appeals order. But so they basically sent me back to that same court. So I was thinking, okay, you can take it in two ways, right? You can take it as a good thing, like
Mm.
it's another confirmation that the appellate court's forcing it onto them to correct their own mess.
It's a double-edged sword.
Absolutely, yes. And then on the other hand, what if they just don't want to deal with this, the appellate court, and they, shift the responsibility from them to the lower court to cover their obvious fraud and blatant violation of civil rights, only mine, but
Mhm.
other people. And so on July 28th of 2025, I discovered in a docket that we were assigned a new judge, which, by the way, was a judge who recused herself in 2024, but that would be a part of a problem. I would be able to deal with that. So I did. called the court and I said, hey, you guys assigned a judge who recused herself back then. We need somebody else, probably. They
Hmm.
said, okay, we are performing investigation, as they called it, and we will notify you what's going to happen. So basically, the very next day, without any notice of assignment, without nothing, I see in the docket that they will hold the hearing on August 12th with the same Judge Candela, so who retired May 12th. So there was no notice of assignment, just the hearing just popped in with his name.
Huh.
So yes, I filed objections, of course, that I did not stipulate to any retired judge or temporary judge, but I guess the issue was deeper than that. I believe that there is a loophole
Hmm.
uh, that is created for them to go on a retirement, perhaps, and most likely after many, many, many complaints, so they can keep their pension.
Hmm.
But there is a loophole for them created inside of a system to go around the constitutional obligation to stipulate this with both parties. They do it through the Chief Justice, Supreme Court of California. So my hearing, well, first of all, let me mention that for that hearing of August 12th, because there was nothing in the system from me filed regarding this issue,
Hmm.
just an appellate court order, right? So because they rejected my notice back then, I decided to file another notice on August 7th and describing all the issues, and everything is in very nice attachments, exhibits with, I went row to row in each transcript and my notes and other things and discrepancies tables and everything, just beautifully written case, just hold the hearing. It's just obviously described all on its face. And the hearing began basically with Judge Candela handing to people, to the parties, this piece of paper. I don't know, you probably cannot see it, but I'll read it. So it's a Chambers of the Chief Justice, Supreme Court of California, and Patricia Guerrero, Chief Justice of California and Chair of the Judicial Council, assigned Honorable Michael Candela, retired judge of the Superior Court, to sit as a judge of the Superior Court of California, County of Butte, on following dates: August 11th to August 13th. Mind you that my hearing was August 12th.
Hmm.
Through the docket, and I tried to find the dates in the other cases that he's working around. And pretty much before the hearing, I was able to see that I believe he had one or two hearings only besides mine on that day, and it was a very high conflict cases, custody cases that are going on. One of them is from 2017. My case began in 2016, 19, I'm sorry. And now actually the docket is closed for me. I can't access it. So I'm assuming I've been blocked from any kind of search. And basically, yeah, so what a coincidence, right? That Miss
Hmm.
Patricia Guerrero, the Chief Justice of California and Chair of the Judicial Council, is, by the way, assigning him for the specific dates when this fraud that he committed, his lies, needed to be basically uncovered on the original, on the transcripts, basically. And this person is, her address is 455 Golden Gate Avenue, which is Judicial Council's and the Commission on Judicial Performance address. And I know for a fact that not only me, but they received dozens of complaints about this specific judge. Did nothing.
No.
So basically, the hearing began with that, and I was provided with his oath of office because I've done probably multiple requests before that. Interestingly, his last term ended on, I believe, 6th of January, and that was the last date of his oath. But this one, the fresh one, is signed of May 23rd of 2025, so a few days after his retirement. So my question is, where is the oath in the middle? No one gives it to me. It just looks like it doesn't exist. So my question is, when he was a permanently sitting judge still in this court, or in a period of January 6th through May 23rd, when he got a new oath of office, was his permanent assignments even legit?
Mhm.
How is it possible? But anyway, he covered his judicial assignment up front, and this is definitely a loophole. And I got, again, very impatient demeanor. I got yelled. I was consistently interrupted. He stated on the record, as he usually states, that he doesn't know what the hearing is about. He prepared for him, he said yesterday, but I had to voice that this is a hearing upon the court order of the higher court, and we're here today to, make corrections or settlement, as the court order states.
Mhm.
And when I asked to, may I state my position, he said, no, you cannot state your position. So,
But he has to abide by what the appeals court ruled.
well, absolutely. Yes. So I don't know if did I finish my sentence? I apologize that I tried to file a new notice right on the August 7th and for the specific hearing describing all the details. And August 8th, I discovered that they rejected my notice again, already past Court of Appeals order. And the basis is vexatious litigant. You can't use vexatious litigant, in this particular situation, because the Court of Appeals order to resolve this matter cannot nullify any filings in regards. I did not request any new litigation. It was ordered by the appellate court, but it was
Yeah.
denied on us.
Ah,
So basically there was no subject matter jurisdiction from my perspective, right? I mean, he said, I read the documents. Then my question is, if you rejected all of my filings, what were you reading? What kind of documents were you reading?
mhm.
What are we here today really for? So
Oh, he was there wasting the taxpayer dollars when he really should have been doing his job, and he shouldn't have even been on the case if he had been retired. But I know they pull these retired judges out and they don't care. They just want to hold on to their pensions and they're also getting paid to be on the bench that day too.
absolutely, he was literally, excuse my language, blabbing about his assignments, that he had 6 or 7 assignments, and he's traveling to this county now and traveling to this county. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares where you're traveling as a retired temporary judge? You were ordered to, by the Court of Appeal, to resolve this matter. Ultimately, it wasn't a question if it should be resolved. It had to be resolved. I wasn't allowed to speak. I tried to put any kind of objections on the record, or, ask politely, actually, and as patient as I could be,
Hmm.
uh, while I'm losing my patience already with these people,
Yeah, I
to
hear
put
you.
this right, to put both notices on the record within the um, lower court, because otherwise, there is nothing in the record. Like, there's no subject matter in there. And yeah, I wasn't allowed to say literally almost no one complete full-on phrase. Now I have to go back to the appellate court, of course, and my fight is not over, but there are 2 appeals that I'm stuck. Basically, I can't establish the record.
This is so frustrating because all of the work you did, and you're representing yourself, all
That
the
is
work you
correct.
did to get to the appeals, and they said, like what, vacate and remand, which means you win, but you have to take it back to the lower court so they can fix it. That's the most frustrating part because that happened to me too. And uh, he just, he, so he was retired, then he came back, and he just doesn't want to be bothered.
Absolutely. But yeah, the mystery is that he came back specifically into this case, specifically on those days. And Interestingly, this Chambers of Chief Justices assignment states this specific little teeny tiny window, August 11th through August 13th. And yeah, I don't know. So far I'm treated not bad within the appellate court. I understand that it can be real that everything would be granted to me, but at least there are some movements there. And I mean, I strongly believe that Butte County Superior Court just digs themselves even deeper. I mean, thank you so much, but give me more evidence of their corruption and I'll just get going.
Yeah, because you have to be persistent. This is how pro se's win their cases. I was persistent. Um, it's a shame this is happening. It's like California is like a different country unto itself.
Yes,
Oh,
it is. It is very frustrating, but um, it's all good. We'll just get going and participate in other nationwide movements that are happening. I hope that it's going to be, I have a friend whose case right now is considered to be added into the case law.
hmm.
Um, I don't know if you've heard about the Family Appellate Project. It's a nonprofit project which supposedly helps people to appeal, but I know many people got rejected by them. So did I, was I. But it is to deal with the recording, secret recording, because California is a two-party state. And in that case, that parent was severely physically abused, and her attorney was able to bring up the secret recordings without the consent into the light to the court. And they're trying to establish it as a case law. In a case of abuse, the recording will be considered as an evidence into the record. So I think that, all that we have left to do is just get going and work and piece by piece, winning it piece by piece, like this case, to make it a law, finally.
Right, right. And I still think, I mean, I always tell people to file complaints on these judges' behaviors. We can't file complaints on their rulings, but how he was yelling at you, interrupting you, file a complaint on him. I'm telling you, it could take that 115th complaint to get that judge off the bench.
Absolutely.
Even on attorneys, if they're not uh, doing the right thing, everyone's got to be complained upon.
Yes, I did 7 consecutive complaints, I believe 6 or 7. I mentioned it last time too. And everything that is happening right now, it's just a blatant retaliation, not only from this judge, but from
Hmm.
the court. But there were some new developments after those, facts that are stated in those complaints. And I'm not going to stop, of course. Next complaint is on its way, and I'll make sure that the Miss Patricia Guerrero, the Chief Justice of California,
Hmm.
will receive the copy of this complaint. And I want to ask her if she's been even aware of what is happening and how many complaints throughout the years were filed
Hmm.
on the judge. So,
Have you connected with other parents that have had problems with Candela?
yes, I actually know quite a few families, and I witnessed myself the blatant disregard for justice in other cases that he stated certain things on record, like he performed once a legal search of someone's intellectual property or offered to perform with his deputy, a judge,
Hmm.
stating he did it many times and many other things.
Have they filed complaints on him as well? Do you know?
I know that a couple of parents did for sure, or one for sure did, and one is in the process of submitting, but I'm sure there is so much, covered there that we're not aware of. But
Hmm.
I heard from parents that they heard through other parents that yes, they did. And it was not one or two complaints. It's a systemic pattern.
Because I filed a complaint on an attorney and I got the usual namby-pamby letter back, like in 2 weeks. And I don't know, it was bothering me and bothering me. And I called up the Supreme Court Judiciary or Supreme Court Complaint Board here in Pennsylvania, whatever. And I talked to an attorney there and he said, well, can you give us more evidence? Can you write more? Give us something more to go on. So I did. I gave them more to go on. I don't want to overwhelm them. I always tell them, I have more if you want it. But I sent in some more evidence, and that attorney did get in trouble. So what I'm saying is like, even if you get a letter like that from a judge, call up the place. Hopefully there's a phone number and say, what else, what other supporting evidence do you need? Because I've got more. And resubmit it.
Yeah.
But the problem that I have is these attorney or these judges retire, but then they get pulled out of retirement. And that's what happened to me with my very last case of my boys wanted 50-50 custody and they pulled this creep out of retirement. He looked like he was 80, but actually he was like 70 or he was in his 60s. It's like, boy, that alcohol really ages you. So anyway, he didn't even rule. He said he was keeping everything as it was since I did not pay the opposing counsel an appearance fee to show up at the custodial office to set up this custody hearing. Yeah, I mean, they all want appearance fees like they're movie stars.
Right. Right. While they're just supposed to be an independent arbitrator
Hmm.
who's getting paid by the public, but it looks like it's a pattern, right? That they pull this retired judges like through this loophole
Right,
to cover their tracks, basically.
right. And to stall progress, drag out the case, frustrate the pro se. And the pro se, I'm talking to so many parents that are pro se, we are in legion, okay?
Yes.
Which is good because the more pro ses, I mean, hopefully people can handle being pro se. As you know, you get verbally abused, you got interrupted, you got yelled at by the judge. I was threatened to go to jail by the family court judge, Judge Robert Sambrook, who is deceased, but he was constantly threatening me with jail. And I didn't care. I just kept going, but that's another podcast.
Right.
But I'm glad you are persistent because the taxpayers need to know what is going on, especially in California and everywhere else here in the United States, as this is also a global problem.
Absolutely. Well, yes, people should be aware of the reality of this. This is once you're in,
Oh,
looks like there's no way out. It
right.
sucks.
Yes. And tell me why people are going to say, well, she's called vexatious and litigious, like I was. Why is it so deadly in California for a litigant to be called vexatious and litigious? Tell me more on that.
Exactly. You're asking me why? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, in my case, and I'm sure that in other cases, this whole vexatious litigant, well, we already know it's not constitutional. It's not constitutional. So they basically frame you to either have an attorney, which they know upfront you have exhausted all your financial opportunities, or you can't file anything. It's like up to their discretion. It's just to cover up the fraud and corruption that they have done. Because all that I did, I followed the book of law to my best knowledge. Of course, I'm self-represented, but I mean, what do? You learn the law, right, and the rights, and it's just to shut you down, so you stop speaking, so they can decide what to let through the system and what to suppress. Just like the evidence of abuse of my child that
Hmm.
this judge ignored consistently and
Hmm.
didn't let into evidence submission and didn't allow the witness or heard what my daughter said to get into the courtroom
Hmm.
while I was actually present outside the courtroom. It's just an instrument, a very convenient instrument created to suppress the people's voices, unfortunately.
And your child.
The child's.
I'd like to see, I know, I'd like to see more kids who age out come back and sue the family courts and their judges and the attorney the parent used that didn't do anything for this parent, that put them
Absolutely.
in a predicament.
Yes. I can't wait till my daughter, will age out of this.
I know, isn't that sad that we're counting down the months for them to age out, and then when I approached my two, it's like you guys want to make some money, why don't you sue? And they couldn't be bothered, which was a shame because had they at least did it, attempted it, I would have helped them with it. Or maybe I'm not allowed to do that because that would have been a conflict of interest. Well, find them someone to help them do it. It would have been a precedence, even if they would have failed.
It would be a precedence. I think that that's coming from their trauma. Um, I was
Mhm.
also thinking the other day, why don't we see many cases like that when aged out children, right, happen to
Right.
sue? Because they see all the struggles and maybe they don't know the laws, like, or they don't know the details of the case, but they know it's just by nature, they sense
Mhm.
it, this pain and this struggle.
Right. Right. And some will come forward. I think someone did and it failed, but still, it shows that someone came forward to sue whoever they had to sue.
Yes, I
You
agree
know,
with you. Just so the people are aware of that this is an opportunity, and I'm hoping that, yeah, these kids will come forward.
yes, that is my hope. And I know, the system is not broken. This is a well-oiled piece of machinery that's churning out parents, their finances, extorting money from parents, and destroying childhoods. And that's
Sadly,
what, go ahead.
sadly,
Oh,
yes.
yeah. Yeah, this is a systemic corruption. And as we had talked earlier, this can happen to anyone. And your fight matters to all of us. And we also need federal oversight of these family courts, cameras in the courtroom, accountability for transcript fraud, and protection for parents who speak out. Because the retaliation thing is getting old. It's got to stop. And my
Yes.
my friend Olga is a standing witness, not just for her daughter, but for every child and parent still trapped in the system. The more we shed light on this darkness, the harder it will be for these courts to keep operating in silence. And that's why we desperately need the cameras in the courtrooms and tamper-proof mics.
Absolutely. We need to get rid of this court reporters thing because, I mean, no matter how good is the court reporter, there is always this human being a factor, right? That they maybe they're not feeling good this day, or they
Right,
they can't very well,
right.
or it appear over Zoom or over the phone, like mine appeared. Not only she wasn't certified court interpreter, or she was not even certified interpreter. I actually got a confirmation from Judicial Council as well the other day that they don't have her on her panel of interpreters. No one knows who this person is. And that makes sense, right? Why it's suppressed from the court reporter's transcript, which makes the transcript formally not legit.
Oh,
Like it's not a legit transcript. So, um, yeah, so that's what I just wanted to conclude, that we need the mics and we need the cameras. So they would be at least maybe having a little bit of a shame and think twice before they act out that their body language and whatever they say there.
Hmm.
It's an atrocity. It's just an atrocity. They're
Complete.
simply torturing people.
Right. This is complete human rights violations that go on every hour. People don't, taxpayers don't know. And some judges are elected, some are, just thrown in there. But we don't know who we're voting for. When they have judge elections and vote for this judge, it's like, well, what kind of a judge is this person? Like, I don't go down to the Allegheny courthouse and sit through everybody's court hearing because that could be a criminal court judge. I don't know. So
Absolutely
the tax,
not.
right, the taxpayer's at a huge disadvantage. So I'm
Yeah.
really glad you came on to speak. Um, if you want to, if anyone has any questions, do you want them to come through me?
Absolutely, yes. I would be happy if you would like to gather those questions, unless people want to email me directly.
Okay.
Uh, I think I left my email last time. I can repeat that
Oh,
because we
sure, go
actually,
ahead.
yeah, I believe that we had actually a couple of people who joined our nationwide coalition upon our podcast. That's how the people found me, and it's amazing. It's sad that they appear to be in this situation, but it's amazing that they joined us and joined forces.
Right.
So it
Good.
is, yeah, it's amazing. Our power is in numbers, right? My
Right.
email is Olga, Olga, as in Victor, and my last name is Wilson, Wilson. So olgavwilson at gmail.com. I'll definitely be happy to hear from everyone and as well your stories and connect you with the coalitions and groups that where you can find support
Hmm.
for yourself or for your loved ones, and perhaps learn from the other people's experience and find parents from the same counties and states.
Right. Oh, I'm
You
so glad you came on. And I will uh have you back on with any other updates that happen. Keep everyone posted. But don't jump off, okay? Slap the
okay?
Gavel is a podcast to help the public understand what really goes on in these courtrooms. I'm your host, Maryann Petri, and you can find me on Spotify, YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Apple, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Google, and other platforms even I don't know about. Again, feel free to buy me a coffee to help keep this podcast going. Thank you, Olga Wilson, all the way from California, for speaking out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marianne, and thank you, everyone.